Okay, now let's welcome Jiang Sen Wei, who's going to do a Chinese culture presentation.
大家好，我叫 Wade. This is my cultural presentation of China. And tonight what I'm going to discuss is not just the differences between China and the US, but also a lot of the similarities that we might hold. Size-wise, if you look at the US superimposed with China, you'll find that the US is actually just a little bit above 6 million square miles, and China is a little bit less than 6 million square miles. You have to minus out Alaska, though. Where the big difference is in population. So China has about 3 times the amount of population as the US.
That's full time.
We both like our outdoor spaces. And in fact, one of the sister parks to Yosemite is Jiuzhaigou. And from these pictures, it's a pretty hard place to take a bad photograph. It has breathtaking outside beauty. It's part of the Min Mountains, which is at the edge of the Tibetan Plateau, and it stretches over 180,000 acres. It's in Sichuan province, which many of you might know is very well known for its hot and spicy food. They also bring in a lot of sweet and sour. Now, with any culture, there are many things to do and see in China, and if you've never been, and hopefully you guys have, and you'll get a lot of chances to go many times over, but for a lot of us, China is one of those once-in-a-lifetime or a few-time-in-a-lifetime opportunities to go. So I suggest the big 4 first, and you could probably guess what many of these are going to be. The Forbidden City in Beijing. You call it the waterway in Shanghai, Victoria Park in Hong Kong, and then maybe you want to throw in something like the Xi'an Warriors. So you throw in these things and you pretty much hit what most people are going to ask you when you say, have you ever been to China? Yes, I have. Have you ever been to? And you can probably knock out 90% of those. Now, with each one of these cities, there's a myriad of things to do and see. Spend a little, you can spend a lifetime visiting the places in each one of these cities. Now, going back to that food aspect, one of my most memorable times in China was taking a cooking class. Now, this is one other thing that China and the US have in common, probably more so in China. Somebody's born, you eat. Somebody dies, you eat. You meet somebody, it's chilama. It's eat, eat, eat all the time. So, I went, I was so impressed with this cooking school, I will promote them. And the next time I went, I took my wife to the cooking school. She's Chinese descent, and of course, you know, just heads up, guys, women know everything. This is universal truth. Culturally, we're the same in that respect. But she did pick up a few things, and it's a win-win for years to come. Now I have my wife being able to cook a few more Chinese dishes. Those are all good. Now, as China has risen in wealth and prosperity over the last few decades, has growing middle class, exposure to explosive growth of cities, and also a desire to stay fit. After eating, a lot of times you'll hear people say things like sambu, to take a walk, to take a stroll. Now, what I wanted to get to was, if I could be so bold to steal the word of the day, malasong. So malasong is a marathon. And through the years, marathons in China have grown exponentially. 2014, it's a little hard to read from the color there, but 83 in 2014, 2016 it was up to 328, and of 2018 we had 15,081. Now, in comparison to the U.S., the U.S. holds about 600 marathons per year, but keep in mind that we are 3 times less the population. Now, no trip would be complete to China if you've never been to the Great Wall. And I have been to the Great Wall, but I thought that I would try to combine the two. So for my next trip, hopefully, we'll see with the coronavirus thing going on, I was hoping to combine the two and run the Great Marathon coming in April. Just a little small section. Now, the Great Wall is a misnomer. It's a number of walls put together. It's calculated somewhere between 13,000 miles to about 15,000 miles, depending on who you go by. One of the longer stretches is about 4,000 miles long, and a marathon, as many of you might know, is just 26.2. Jinsanglang is just 10 kilometers of that, so it goes through the village, it goes up along the wall, and that's it. And I'm going to attempt to do this in April. If not, I'll defer it to 2021. Hopefully I don't have to cancel. So, any questions?
Yeah, nice. Very nice, and beautiful pictures. Yeah.
So what caused the surge in the marathons? Like why did it start to exponentially grow? Was there a cultural shift? You mentioned there was a cultural shift before, but was there also like a government incentive to do this?
Cultural
as well?
shift, people move into the cities wanting to stay healthy, and also it's a cheap form of entertainment as well as exercise. Strap on some shoes, go for a run.
Yeah.
And there's also a big money incentive. I didn't put those numbers down, but it's in the billions.
It is. It's getting very popular. Even my hometown is hosting international marathon. Yeah. So.
Now they said, what was it, 15,080 something? I'm sorry, 1,580 something marathons. They call it road.
Marathon.
Well, they didn't call it marathon. The article I was reading said something along the lines of it's a road running event. I don't know what quite that means, but it was in a marathon article, so I assume that it didn't translate well.
Oh, okay.
What kind of dishes would you like to cook?
Mapo tofu. There was a chow mein. There was a pulled cold dish chicken. I forget what it was called.
白斩鸡.
Maybe perhaps I'll bring the menus next time. And then there was one that we cook a lot is a fish flavored pork. As well. I don't know why you would want to.
鱼香肉丝.
对.
鱼香肉丝.
对.
Yeah.
And then there's a 5-spice pork dish, as well as like a stew
Yeah, the
dish.
braised
Braised
one,
pork,
yeah.
right.
They put it like in a clay pot.
It's braised pork with soy and sugar, I believe is what the name of it is.
Wow, 很好. Okay, any other questions? Very good. I think it's a very good summary. So if you have never been to China and those Great Four, I think I would also like to recommend you to go. It's so beautiful. And I have been to all these places, including 九寨沟.
Zhangjiajie?
张家界也去过, yeah. But I went there 2006. So that place is pretty much so clean. There's no tourists yet because it's such a, how to say, there's no road actually. It's very dangerous to go there because it's inside top of the hill. Yeah, this place. So I remember at one time, everyone need to get off the bus. Everyone need to push the bus. Yeah, because there's no road and there's mud, you know. Yeah, we have to do that. It's quite dangerous. And there's only one hotel at that time inside Jiuzhaigou. Yeah.
We didn't have to
so-
push any bus, but it was like a 16-hour bus ride from the,
Chengdu.
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah, but at least now there's, decent road.
And the airport is one of the highest, if not the highest airport in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's very beautiful. So yeah, make sure, plan your trip. You learn your Chinese, and Chinese will appreciate you able to speak Chinese there. Yeah. So, okay, 好，
好
谢谢。
谢谢。